Hello, Elaine here with Elaine's Creations. And in this video, I'm gonna share my top 10 tools that you must have for crafting and paper crafting. All right, my number one, and these aren't in like order of favorites or anything, so they are just a compilation list in no specific order. But the first item that I love, the first tool, are my paper snips. They are super sharp all the way to the end, and I love using them for cutting out things. So I have this seaweed that I stamped here, and I just move the paper and not the scissors, and I slowly cut, and it helps me get everything really precise. And like I said, it's sharp all the way to the tip. See, it makes those cuts all the way to the tip. So that's number one. And I put a little charm on it so everybody knows that it's mine, as well as a little name sticker. I'm not particular about my scissors at all, am I? So that's number one. Number two is my bone folder. And yes, I also put my name on my bone folder. My bone folder is great because not only does it crease really, really well, it allows me to do some scoring too. So when I'm using my Simply Scored tool, which is my next favorite tool, I like to use my bone folder. So I'll just go right in here, and then I'll line everything up, and then I'll use it to make a super nice crease. So that's what I love using my bone folder for. I like using it with the Simply Scored tool and then creasing any creases that I need to make. My next favorite tool is the Take Your Pick tool. And I love it because one side has this gummy, and it looks like I need to, which way do I turn? This way or this? I think it's this way to get the gummy to come out. No, not that way. That removes it. So it is removable. And then it looks like, there it is. So just the tiniest, tiniest little bit. And then I can pick up all kinds of things. Like I have this little, oh, too much. It's all coming out now. Okay. So I can pick that little piece up, and you can pick up sequins and all kinds of fun things. So I've got one little sequin left in here, this little star, and I can just pick that up, and then I can place that wherever I want it to go. So that's one side of the Take Your Pick tool. And then the other side, oh dear, too much, of the Take Your Pick tool has two possibilities it comes with. Either a nice sharp point that you can use for either getting little pieces out of your dies. So I've got all these little, pieces in my dies, so I can poke all those out. All these little pieces right here. Or if you're putting in a brad, you could do that. Or even better is you can remove this, and now there is a piece that you can put in that has a die brush. So here's the die brush. Oh, it comes on the other side. So you unscrew that, and then you can screw this into the other side. And then you can just, whoops, put that on tighter. You can just brush all of these little pieces out of the die like that. And that's faster, in my opinion. So I like to have, I have a dedicated one over by my cutting area because I like to keep this one for picking things up. And then the other side of this I love because it helps pull pieces up from a card when I make a mistake, or it helps me do some rhinestones. So I can do some rhinestones on this card right here. So I'm gonna put rhinestones on their little eyes. And it just helps me lift it up and put it right on. So it makes it really easy. And then if there's a card or something where I've adhered something and I didn't want to, or I made a mistake, I can use this to kind of go and cut the adhesive off in a way, and I can lift this up just like that. So super, super handy dandy tool, and it has caps for both sides. So I love the take your pick tool. Okay, the next tool that I love, and I wish that Stampin' Up! Carried a similar tool. They used to. This is the old Stampin' Up! Tweezers that I have from my toolkit from like 18 years ago. Are these reverse tweezers. So reverse tweezers are awesome because when you squeeze them, they open, and then when you release, they close and hold your paper for you, so that if you're heat embossing, you don't have to be squeezing the tweezers, and you can keep your fingers away from the heat, and it works really nicely. So I've kept these reverse tweezers all these years because they're super handy dandy. And then I found some other ones that have a really nice sharp point as well. So I can also use these, you know, to poke out little pieces out of my dies or other things. And I can also, they're reverse tweezers too, so I can also use them to hold paper or whatever else I want to hold. So reverse tweezers are really helpful, really, really great. Wish Stampin' Up! Sold those again. Okay, my next favorite item is the blending brush. And yes, I have one blending brush for each color. That's polished pink. I still need to label it. And here's Granny Apple Green and Cupcake. And I have the whole collection. So I have a lot of blending brushes. And I love using these blending brushes because they just add a really soft color to things. So for instance, I have this little fish here, and I just want to add a little color to the bottom. So I'm just gonna grab some ink, and then I'm just gonna add a little hint of color there on the bottom. And then it looks super cute like that. Or you can color the bottom of a card like I did here with this, with the blending brushes. So blending brushes, definitely need to have them. And you don't have to get one for each color. You can easily rinse this with soap and water because the ink is dye-based, and it'll come right out and you can use it again. I'm just lazy and I don't want to wash these. I just want to be able to pick it up and use it for a color and not have to worry about washing it. So yeah. Okay, my next favorite tool I also wish Stampin' Up! Sold is my sand eraser. And this is if I accidentally get ink somewhere or a piece of something somewhere, like I've got a little tiny bit of ink right there and I don't want it there. So basically it rubs off the top of the paper. So it's not really erasing the ink per se, it's just rubbing off the top of the paper until I get to where the paper is white again, and then no more spot right there. So the sand eraser, very, very helpful. And I'm gonna have links to all these items in the down below. So make sure you check out the links for those. And then my next one, there's several things. So this is undo. So it's kind of like you need the take your pick tool and the undo. Like if I had like the Stampin' Seal Plus down here, then you put a little bit of the undo. I know it's liquid, isn't that crazy? But it will dry and it won't harm your ink or your paper or anything. But you'll just put some undo, you know, in there, and then it'll allow you to just super easily come in here and lift everything up. So that's if something is really stuck down, then you want to go ahead and use the undo. Okay, so the next item is just a very simple item, but it is so handy dandy. And that is my clear rulers, and they come in centimeters and inches. And it just helps me to measure things really quickly when I forget, you know, what I cut them at. So this is 3 3/4 by 5 and a 1/16. Not really an 1/8. It's supposed to be an 1/8, but it's not. So these are really handy dandy. I have short ones, and because that's what I use most of the time, but sometimes you need the long one too. So these come in handy for measuring things, like this is 3, you know. So I just like to know what the sizes are. Okay, and then the last but not least item is this cute little mini die cutting and embossing machine. It is so cute, and it is portable, and it has its own little plates, and coming soon it's going to have a magnetic plate, which I am super excited about. But for now, I use the old magnetic plate that Stampin' Up! Sold with the large machine, and I cut it into thirds to use. So you're gonna have your base plate, and you're gonna have your magnetic plate or your regular cutting plate. And then, see, I cut it into thirds. So here's the 3 pieces right here. And then you're gonna have your paper and your die. So let's do the octopus die right there. And this is why I love having the magnetic, because it would just hold that in place. So it's not gonna move. And then I offset my cutting plates. It just makes it easier to roll through the little mini. Oh, so smooth. Ooh, nice. Little cracks, those are normal. And then I have cut out my little octopus. So cute, look how cute that is. And so you can use the mini machine for most of our dies. I mean, pretty much every die in this set you could use, except, no, well, you might be able to use the large one. Look at that. That might fit. That bubble wouldn't get cut. And that bubble wouldn't get cut. So maybe not, almost. But pretty much most of our dies fit in the mini machine. So it's really great, because you can take it wherever you want, and you can use the little embossing. So for the little embossing, let's see, you use number 1, and then if it's a 3D embossing, you're gonna use number 4. So here's the splatter embossing folder. This is a mini one, and I've got some vellum here. So I'm just gonna stick the vellum inside here, line that up. And I always put the fold towards the roller, and then I'm gonna put number 4 on top, and I'm just going to roll this through. Oh, so cute. Love this little machine. And then I've got my splatters on my vellum. So you can use all the little mini embossing folders with the mini machine as well. So it's super portable. I take it with me on my trips, and then I just take all of my cutting and 1 magnetic plate. I don't need 3. And I just take these with me, and I'm good to cut pretty much I'd say at least 75% of the catalog I can cut with the mini machine, and then I can do the mini embossing folders too. Thanks so much for watching my video on my top 10 tools. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and leave me a comment and let me know what you think of my top 10 tools, or if you have any tools to add to my list. Also, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so that you know every time I go live or post a new video. Thanks, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.